Hi guys, welcome back to part 3 of our crochet along. So we are making Daisy the turtle. This is a crochet along with Elite Yarns and the Wool Shop. So Elite Yarns sent me some of their velvet yarn called Dolce, and I have to make something with it. So I've already made a turtle with this, a bunny, and a whale. So the whale pattern is also a free pattern available on my YouTube channel. You can just go down to the videos below. It's quite near to this one, and you can find the free pattern for a whale there as well. And I also have other free patterns as well, but the whale one was made specifically with the Dolce that Yarn Art sent me. So Yarn Art is a company based here in South Africa, and they have been here for 15 years, and they have asked me to create these cute amigurumis for you guys so that you can work with the yarn and make these cuties with me. So in today's tutorial, it is part 3 of the crochet along. If you go down in the descriptions below, you will find part 1 and part 2. This pattern is also free available on my blog. You can also find the introduction post, the part 1 and part 2 of this turtle on my blog. And of course, if you don't want to do the crochet along, you don't want to go through all the parts separately, you can purchase this little guy's pattern in my shops. It's available on Etsy, Ravelry, my shop that's available for South Africans, that is in Rands. And then I also have a website for PayPal, so if you're overseas and you want to support me with my private website, my private shop, my patterns are cheaper there, so just keep that in mind. So if you can go to that shop, you can use the PayPal button and pay for the pattern, and it will be instant download to your email. So this is what Daisy Turtle looks like. So we have made so far, the petals was part 1, the shell was part 2, and now we're doing part 3, and it's the 4 legs and the little head. So the legs and the head is sewn on afterwards, but we have made the petals with the shell in one. So we started with the petals, we moved on to the shell, and now we're going to finish it up and do the head and the legs. Without keeping any longer, let's go and finish part 3 of this crochet along. First, gonna make the feet. We need to make 4 of them, so I'm gonna make 1, and I'm gonna upload, show you the pattern on the screen, and then you can just repeat it and make 4 of them. So first off, what you're going to do is we're going to start with a magic circle, and we're going to single crochet 6 within that magic circle. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then the second round is going to be increase times 6, so we're going to have 12 stitches. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So now we have 12 stitches on our round. Remember that I said don't pull your magic ring too tight, otherwise it's going to make a very sharp point. So now the next round is going to be 1 single crochet increase times 6, and that's going to be 18. So we're going to place our stitch marker. So it's going to be 1 single crochet, placing our stitch marker, and that is an increase in the next stitch, and it is 1 single crochet and an increase in the next stitch, and we're going to repeat this around till we have reached 18 stitches on our round. So for the next round, we have to work in the back post single crochet stitch so that we can make a little edge around the feet to keep them flat. So we're going to remove our stitch marker, and we're going to insert our hook from the back of the stitch through to from the front to the back to the next stitch, and we're going to work in this post. So this is the back post single crochet. That is when the post is at the back of the hook, and we're going to yarn over and pull through, yarn over and pull through, and that's 1 single crochet done. Now we're going to go into the next stitch, as you can see, from the back to the front, back again, and we're going to pull through and single crochet again. I'm going to show you again. You're going to go from the back to the front. We're going to hook our yarn, pull through, yarn over, pull through, and there we have another back post single crochet stitch. So I'm going to show you once again. It's going to go from the back underneath the 2 loops to the back of the next loop, and we're just going to pull through and yarn over, and we're going to repeat that 18 times till we have reached the end of our round. And you will see it makes a little ridge. We're going to single crochet as normal, and we're going to make another round of 18 stitches. So it's going to be 1. You're going to place your stitch marker. Now we have completed 18 single crochets around. We're going to do 1 single crochet decrease to 12 stitches. So it's 1, decrease, and we're going to repeat that 5 times more till we have 12 stitches on our round. And now we just have to do 2 rounds of 12 single crochets around. So it's single crochet each stitch, 2 rounds. And there we have completed our first foot for the turtle. So now we're just going to take a little bit of a stuffing, and we're going to stuff the foot. Just give it a little bit of a squeeze at the bottom so it's not too pointy at the bottom. And there we have the first foot done, and we're just going to take and cut a yarn tail. If you don't want to sew with the velvet yarn, you can just end it off, and then you can reconnect a acrylic or cotton yarn that is similar color to this one, and you can use that to sew on the legs. If you're not comfortable with sewing with the blanket or the chenille yarn, you can cut the yarn, you can end it off, you can take an acrylic yarn and you can just attach it again, make a knot, attach it, and use that string to yarn tail to sew on the leg to the turtle. So you're going to repeat this 3 times more so that we have 4 feet. I'm going to post the pattern here on the screen, or you can just go back to the beginning where we start with the feet, and you can just repeat that 3 times more. Now we have finished all 4 the legs, all of them are stuffed, and we can sew them now onto the bottom of our turtle's body. So now that we have made the 4 legs, we're going to move on to making the head. So for the first round, it's going to be a magic circle and then single crochet 6 within that magic circle. The second round is going to be increase times 6 for 12 stitches. So it's going to be 2 single crochets within 1 stitch to create an increase. So it's going to be 1, 2. That's 1 increase, and we're going to repeat that 5 times more for 12 stitches on our round. Round we're going to do 1 single crochet increase times 6. That will give us 18 stitches at the end of our round. So it's going to be 1 single crochet. We're going to place our stitch marker, and in the next stitch we're going to do 2 single crochets for an increase, and we're going to repeat that 5 times round till you've reached your stitch marker, and you're going to have 18 stitches on your round. So it's to have complete that, we're going to move on to the next round. It's going to be 2 single crochet increase. So you're going to do your first single crochet, you're going to place your stitch marker to mark the beginning of the round. You're going to add another single crochet, and after that you're going to do 2 single crochets within 1 stitch, and that is an increase. So it's 1, 2 single crochets. So that is your next sequence, and you're going to repeat that 5 times more till you've reached your stitch marker, and you will be having 24 stitches at the end of your round. Now we have 24 stitches at the end of our round. We're going to move on to the next round, and the next round is going to be 3 single crochet increase. So we're going to follow the same method. We're now just going to do 3 single crochet increase. So it's 1, so it's the first in single crochet, insert your stitch marker, 2 single crochets more, and then increase in the next stitch. So we're going to repeat this 5 times around until you have 30 stitches on your round. Now that you have 30 stitches on your round, we're going to move on to the next round, and that's going to be 4 single crochet increase, and you're going to do that 6 times. So it's 4 single crochet increase times 6, and you're going to end up with 36 stitches. So it's 1 stitch, stitch marker, 2, 3, 4, and an increase. And you're going to repeat this method 5 times more, and you're going to have 36 stitches on your round. So this was the last increased round for your head for your turtle. So now we're going to build onto the round so we can form the head and then move on to the neck. So for the next 5 rounds, we're going to single crochet in each stitch around. So you're going to remove your stitch marker, you're going to insert your hook, you're going to place it back, and we're going to single crochet in each stitch around without increasing or decreasing for the next 5 rounds. Each round you will have 36 stitches on your round. So we have now completed the 5 rounds for our head, and now we're going to start decreasing because we need to shape the neck now. We're going to do 4 single crochet decrease times 6, and we're going to go back to 30 stitches. So we're going to repeat that 6 times. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease is the opposite of an increase. So what you're going to do is you're going to go with the hook into the first 2 front loops. You're going to push it through. You're going to yarn over. You're going to pull your hook through both of those loops. You're going to yarn over again and pull through both loops. And that is how you do a single crochet decrease. And this is an invisible decrease that we do with amigurumi, so it doesn't have a little bump when we start decreasing. We're going to move on to the next sequence, and it's once again it's going to be 4 single crochet. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and a decrease, and we're going to repeat this sequence till we have reached our stitch marker, and we end up with 30 stitches on our round. Okay, so once we have finished that round, we're going to have 30 stitches on the end of our round, and now we're moving on to the next round, and that's going to be 3 single crochet decrease. So we're going to insert our stitch mark in our first stitch, and we're going to do 1, 2, 3, and a decrease. And we're going to repeat that method till we've reached the end of our round, and we're going to have 24 stitches at the end of the round. So it's 3 single crochet decrease times 6. So at this point, we can now insert the safety eyes. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our safety eyes. I changed out the safety eyes. I did have black in the beginning of the video when we started this crochet along, but I switched it out for these pink glitter eyes. So the eyes needs to be between round 10 and 11 and 11 stitches apart. So we're going to count from the top of the head, and we're going to count 10 stitches down, or 10, we're going to count 10 rows down. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's round 10, 10 and 11. So the eyes are going to be between those two. And we're going to insert the first eye. We're going to secure it with a safety pin at the back or a safety washer. And now we're going to count 10 stitches to either side. Doesn't matter which side you're going to count to. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we're going to place the stitch marker on that side as well. We're just going to make sure, as you can see, the one is slower than the other one. Just going to make sure we do place it in the right round. If you're unsure, you can just count from the top again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So it's going to be there, and it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Just move it up a bit. So 11 stitches is open there in front. And we're going to secure the second eye. So now the two eyes are in, and we're going to continue to decrease and form the neck. So the next round would be 2 single crochet decrease, bringing you to 18 stitches. So it's 2 single crochet decrease times 6. So we're just going to do 2 single crochets and a decrease, and we're going to repeat it 5 times more till we have reached our stitch marker again. Now that you have 18 stitches on your round, we're going to move on to the next round, and we're going to do 1 single crochet decrease. So it's 1 single crochet decrease times 6, and we're going to end up with 12 stitches. And now we have 12 stitches on our round, and we're going to start stuffing the head. So if you get to this point and this opening is too small for you to stuff, I would recommend going back to the previous round, so stopping at 18 single crochets and then stuffing the head. Make sure when you stuff that you widen the head and you move your fingers inside to the outside to make the head nice and wide and flat at the top, so it doesn't make that little, as you can see, that little egg point there on top. You're just going to keep on stretching the head to the sides. Push the stuffing down, and then take your fingers and you're going to move them to the side again, stretching the top of that head there so to flatten it. And then you can just take some more stuffing, and as you can see, it's open there in the middle, so you can just take more stuffing and put in there in the center, and you can just continue to stuff till your head is nice and firm. Once you have finished stuffing your turtle's head, we're going to move on to the neck. And for the next 6 rounds, we're going to do 12 single crochets in each round. So we're not going to increase or decrease. We're going to single crochet in each round, stitch around for 12 stitches. So once you have completed the 7 rounds of the 12 single crochet stitches, we're going to stuff the neck a little bit, not too much. We don't want it to be too stiff. It's more stiff at the top and less at the bottom. So we're just going to fill it up lightly with some stuffing. Now we're going to close the bottom, but this depends on how you want your turtle to, what direction you want your turtle to look at. So if you want it facing front to the front, you're going to fold the neck flat like this. you're going to place it onto the body so your turtle is showing to the front. If you want it to look sideways, then you're going to, instead of flat like this, you're going to pinch it and you're going to have it in the other direction. And now we're going to sew it on like this with one eye facing towards us. And we're going to put it onto the body like this. And then it's going to have this little cute side pose instead of the front. So you have the front facing turtle and then you also have the side facing turtle. So it depends on what your preference is. So I'm going to give this one a side profile. So I'm going to, instead of holding the neck flat like this, I'm going to squeeze it to the opposite side. So it's going to be this side. So we're going to single crochet. We're going to slip stitch and close the bottom of this neck. So I'm just going to make one. And we're going to turn because it's a bit, the side profile is a bit in the center. And I'm just going to single crochet across just to close the neck. It doesn't have to be a certain amount. It can be 6 if you want to, but it's just to close up the neck so that you can just have it easier to sew on. We're going to take our scissors and we're going to cut a strand of yarn so that we could just have enough to sew on the neck to the body. And there we have finished the head. And now we can start sewing. So we can sew the head onto the body and also add the legs to the bottom of the shell. So we're going to take our darning needle and we're going to place our turtle's neck at the very edge of where the shell meets the bottom of the shell. And we're going to thread our tapestry needle. If you don't want to use velvet yarn, you can replace this yarn with a color of acrylic that looks the same. So what I do is I use a stitch called a whip stitch. And what it means is you're going to go into the body. You're going to come out through one of the stitches in the neck. And you're going to pull up. You're going to go into the next stitch of the body. You're going to go through the neck piece and you're going to pull the yarn up. And you're just going to repeat this method till you have reached the end of your neck on the other side. So I just keep on weaving it through the body, through the neck. Just pull up, pull a little bit tight, not too tight because remember velvet yarn does break easily. So just firmly but not too tight. And then through the last corner. And what I like to do here is I just like to make a little knot. So I place the yarn once again through the body. So I like to make a little knot at the end. So it's through the body, through the neck. Bring up your yarn, leave a little loop, through that loop, and then pull it tight. Now the point with your turtle is the neck at the back. We need to attach it to the shell because otherwise if you just leave it, it's going to drop to the front and that's not what we want. So we're going to place the neck against the body. We're going to go in with the stitch. We're going to come out of the shell. We're going to attach the neck to that, through the neck. Pull tight through the shell again, through the neck, and we're going to go back to into the shell, into the body, into the bottom of the shell, and we're just going to pull it tight so we see that our neck is no longer falling to the front. You can secure it on the other side as well. If you see it's a little bit loose, you can go to this side. You're going to add a stitch again, move back to the bottom of the shell. Once again, I just like to make a little knot. And this is the struggles that you can have with velvet yarn, with the yarn coming from the yarn itself. So if you're not comfortable using it this way, then you can use acrylic yarn to sew on your pieces. Now I just pull it through and then I just cut the yarn. And we have attached the head of the turtle. Now we're going to sew on the legs. So for the legs, I like to use knitting needles. So these needles are a little bit long, so it's going to be a little bit of a trouble using them maybe in this video tutorial. But all that I do is I take the knitting needle and I push it into the feet, into the foot, just to keep it in place. And then I just sew on the legs. So the legs, we're doing the same method. I'm using the whip stitch that you need in sewing. So you're going to go through the body. You're going to pull up your yarn. You're going to go through one of the stitches in the legs. You're going to pull up the yarn. And you're going to repeat this all around through the body, through the stitch in the leg, through the body. And the needles is just going to help you keep that in place. So it's through the leg, through the body, bring up the yarn. Then it's through the leg, through the body, pull up the yarn. And you're just going to continue this all the way around till you have reached your starting point again for your foot. To have attached the leg, you can just remove the knitting needles and you will have your first leg. So for the second leg, I'm going to show you how to, with the acrylic or with the cotton. So you're going to not use the string of velvet yarn to attach it. You're just going to push it in there. So I don't have the same color as this turtle's leg, but I do have a white thin cotton. So it's a 4-ply cotton, a 1 weight or a sport yarn. So I'm just going to knot it onto the leg. So you won't be able to see this because if you pull it tight, it just disappears in the fluff. So I'm just attaching it to this leg so I can use it to sew on the leg. So for the next leg, we're just going to place it, and we're going to take our knitting needles and we're going to insert it into the leg through the body just to keep them in place so that when we sew, it stays in place. So we're going to take our cotton now and we're just going to repeat that. We're going to go through the body, through the leg, through the body, and we're just going to repeat going around. And now you can pull it nice and tight because you know that your working yarn that you're attaching the limb to is not going to break because it's a cotton, so you can pull it nice and tight. And we're just going to repeat that whip stitch all around till we have closed the top of the foot against the bottom of the shell. And as you can see, as I pull it tight, it disappears into the fluff, so you're not even going to see it unless you really stretch on the leg. You might see the white stitches. So we're just going to continue doing the whip stitch all around the leg, and we're going to repeat that with the other 2 back legs as well. So if you do cut a long enough strand for sewing with the cotton, you can actually sew on all 4 legs with one piece, so you don't have to reconnect the yarn every time you add a new leg. So I'm just going to go straight in with this cotton. I just weaved it in closer to where the back leg will be, and I'm just going to use the same string to attach the back leg. So this is also a nice hack if you want to save on your velvet yarn, because we all know velvet yarn is super expensive, and sewing the pieces on with cotton or another acrylic yarn with the same color can be not only time saving and headaches from all the weaving and struggling with the fluff, it's also a money saver because you're going to use less velvet yarn because you're going to use the cotton to sew on the pieces. So I'm just going to go ahead and attach these last 2 legs at the back, and then I'm going to show the end results. And now we have attached all 4 legs and the head, and our cute little daisy turtle is now finished. So you can go ahead and you can add some details to the face if you like to. And I found that people like the clean faces without the smileys and the cheeks. And they sell best at my market when they have nothing on their faces, only the eyes. But some people do like to add the cheeks and the mouth and all that stuff. But you can go ahead and you can just design it the way you want to and personalize it. You can even make like colorful petals, like each petal a different color, or you can just play around, make a little rainbow here in the center, make it different colors in the center. You can really play around with this little turtle, making it colorful. And even for certain months and certain holidays, you can change this pattern, this turtle's color, into those type of events that's happening. So yeah, that is it for this turtle, and I hope you enjoyed this crochet along. So that was it for the crochet along. Thank you for joining in, and if you've made this turtle, please go to my Facebook group. The link is in the description below, and go post your little turtles. I would love to see them, and I would love to see the color combinations that you thought of and that you came up with. So these 2 is going to my market this week, so hopefully they are going to find their permanent homes. But I had so much fun making them, and I hope you enjoyed it as well if you followed along with this crochet along. And remember to like and subscribe for more videos and more free patterns coming to my YouTube channel. But till next time.